Oh, guys, let us know you can hear us this time because these things happen, and they only happen when Connors comes on. Colin and Connors just spend half the evening just fiddling around with all their fancy equipment.
Hey, I'm going to say now, when we use our fancy equipment, it works. Just saying.
I haven't got all these fancy microphones and things lying about all over the place. I haven't. Guys, just let us know on the stream that you can hear us okay. This is take 2. Dave and Connors live.
Yep.
Talking about practical shooting. Yes, all good.
Hang on, we're talking about practical. That wasn't in the agreement. Talking about practical was not in the agreement.
I said it anyway. Anyway, look, Magload, finally got you on here.
Yep.
I'm not going to go all over that stuff again, but what we are going to do, we're going to talk about yourself. And for some of you out there who don't know who Connors is, I'm going to repeat myself again. He is the brains and the gunsmith behind Magload. Okay? He's not only a gunsmith and a good designer, a creator, an innovator, and a magician. He is also a good practical shooter.
Not too bad.
There's lots of things. You're also a coach as well, which is a great thing too. But look, let's get right back to the beginning, okay?
Sure.
So just go over again how you got into shooting and extended itself from there.
Yeah, so shooting. I started shooting when I was 10 with my granddad. Actually stopped shooting for a number of years until I went to uni. Didn't finish, but that's a story for another time. Where I set up the Brighton University Target Shooting Club. So I've been into doing a bit of Olympic 3-position target shooting. And I started coaching at the Brighton University Club, set up, coached there, got quite a few people into it. And as with all the Olympic disciplines, eventually it got boring. So I started doing various different types of shooting, got into a bit of long range up at Dorking District Rifle Club. They're a really nice club. They've got 600 yards, their own electronic targets, really nice. And they do their own sort of little version of their CSR matches. So I really enjoyed that. Wanted to do some more practical style stuff. Looked it up. Saw 3-gun. Realised you couldn't really do 3-gun in the UK at the time. Found the UK PSA, joined up, and went to a club. And that club was Maidstone Pistol Club. The guys there were super, super welcoming. Really great. Got me on board very, very quickly. I really enjoyed it.
Do it's just taking a little step back there. When you mentioned at university you were teaching Olympic style. Was that 2-2? Long rifle?
2-2 and air rifle. And we did do some air pistol as well while we were down there.
Because, getting back to the fundamentals of shooting, it's nice. You quite often try all these disciplines before you really find yourself and find out what you're good at. And I think, I got involved with the world of 2-2 long rifle. Obviously, guys, just in case the lack of understanding out there, 2-2 long rifle is the rifle with the sling and the jacket. It's precision shooting at 25, 50, and 100 plus yards. It doesn't really go much further than 200 or 300 yards because of the caliber of the bullet. But I think, as you said there, Connors, it's the beginning. It's very often small bore target shooting is the beginning of it all. So just touching on that, the Olympic, were you actually training and coaching these guys, and did they go far?
So unfortunately, no one from Brighton University. I did guest coach up at the NSRA one time. They had some Olympiads up there, and I was up there with some of the actual Olympic coaches teaching. But Olympic 3-position is the name of the discipline. So whilst the aspiration is to take people to the Olympics, unfortunately, no one who I brought into it went there. But certainly people who I've taught in the past did go on to compete in the Olympics.
And so from there, you said you extended yourself to pistols, and then you got yourself involved with the Dorking Club. I popped up there and had a look around up there and nearly joined this, but I opted for the longer ranges at Bisley.
Yeah. Well, the thing is about Dorking is they did have 1,000 yards available to them, but it does mean they're shooting over their clubhouse, so they don't like doing that too much.
No, that's very concerning. That. No. So it's just again touching on the where you started, obviously 2-2 target position, 3 positions, obviously prone,
Yeah.
kneeling and standing for
Yeah.
the 2-2 Olympic training, and
Yeah.
then you moved to full bore. So you found yourself going to the Dorking Club and shooting long range with what, 308?
308 and of course 303, because who can
Okay.
live in the UK and not own a Lee Enfield?
Mhm.
Um,
And so from that point there, how did you find yourself? So how did we get from there to becoming the man who makes stuff?
I've always made stuff, so anything and everything that I do, always make my own bits and pieces. I've always worked in fairly technical industries, so there's always been a part of that. I built my first 3D printer in 2013, 2014. I don't know if you can see it. It's still
Is it in the
going.
back there?
Just about that one there.
Right.
It's not the same as it was when I first built it, but it's still there and it still gets used every now and again.
Connors, I always thought a 3D printer was sort of like a big microwave. That doesn't look like a big microwave to me.
No, some of them are. The ones that we actually make most of our products on are huge, like think the size of a massive double fridge freezer. But no, these things are mostly used for prototyping. They use little rolls of plastic like that.
Okay.
We use them to make little bits and pieces before we send them off to the big machines.
Right. Let's take a step back here. We're getting ahead of ourselves. just calm down a second. All right.
All right.
Let's go back.
Easy now.
Now, look, we're obviously you and I are both very creative men. You know, we've got beautiful big hands and we can make stuff. I mean, I can't account for having the skills that you have. I mean, the only thing that I was well known for was I was good with my hands, with clay and plasticine.
Mm-hmm.
As an 11-year-old, I made a mistake. Okay, I made a penis out of plasticine. I left it on Miss Wilson's desk and I got suspended. You know, I never got into the art class again. But it did attract the girls. The 11-year-olds would come up to me. I wasn't a very pretty kid, you know. But look,
yeah, no, I can believe that.
Don't turn on me now, okay? Okay. So listen, in terms of creating stuff, right? We've jumped the gun a little bit here with 3D printing. What sort of stuff did you find yourself doing initially?
Just making little bits and pieces for the gun. So I made a bipod adapter for my 308. I was making my own stripper clips for my 303. Actually made a stripper clip that's really nice and easy and fast to use. And so we did these little CSR matches with our Mosin Nagants and our 303s and had a lot of fun doing it. So I had to make a few bits to get myself a bit faster at that. Things like little trays for reloading as well. So I was reloading a lot of my 303 at the time. Little bits and things just to help like that. I never really commercialized anything, not for a long time from there.
So this was sort of falling in line with your shooting because you obviously became a competitive shooter. So you were like putting all these little bits and pieces together to make your shoot, to shoot a bit faster and improve versatility.
I'll tell you something quite funny here, right? So to talk about being competitive and competitive shooter. So Olympic 3 position, highly competitive. I was very, very competitive in that. Long range, I was very competitive. This little CSR type internal club match we did, very, very competitive. And when I found practical, the first thing that I said to the guys when I went to the Maidstone Pistol Club was, look, I've been competitive like in every shooting discipline I've ever done. All I want to do now is not be competitive and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen.
No, exactly. I agree with that. I think it's about having fun. You talk about 2-2 precision rifle shooting is very, very difficult. I think, as a coach yourself and extending yourself to your practical shooting, and a lot of it's about what's going on up there, and in terms of 2-2 shooting in particular, it's about breathing. It's about the trigger finger. It's all those things put together.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the fundamental skills you learn from any shooting discipline do transfer to all of the other disciplines. Breathing, trigger control. That's really all there is to it when you get down to it. well, to being accurate. Practical shooting adds a whole new dimension to it, which is why I loved it. It's something different, it's something new.
And do you find yourself teaching that even now in practical shooting?
Yeah, absolutely. We get quite a few people come here for sort of one-on-one coaching. We sometimes do two-on-one. Not so much now with COVID, but yes, we do skills training up here. A bit more focused stuff, so it's very much tailored to the people who want to come and learn something specific. They usually say quad loading. We normally get them quad loading within about half an hour and then move on to the stuff they really need to work on. But also, I'm a long gun safety course instructor for the UK PSA, so we do a lot of the competition licenses here for long gun as well.
And so the coaching you were just referring to there, where is that done? Is that done through Magload or Bluefield Sports, or where, and who's that through?
So it's done through Bluefield Sports because Bluefield Sports own the ranges, and it's simpler if they just do all the admin and stuff for that. So if anyone watching this is interested in learning how to shoot practical, learning how to shoot it to a moderate standard at the very least, get in touch with Alex at Bluefield Sports, and he will sort you out when lockdown ends. But that might not happen anytime soon either. So I don't know.
So just touching on the kind of things that you're doing with the weapon, with the firearms, the types of modifications that you do. I mean, I gather that you can open up the ports on the shotguns, which makes it a lot easier to reload. Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much fitting in with everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's what you tell us about the other kind of things that you could do to a shotgun and a rifle.
This could be a very, very long stream, but
I'll keep it short. I'll keep it short. Don't worry.
We could do a number of things, and it depends on the gun at the end of the day. Like, got that Smith that I casually placed up at the beginning of the stream. It wasn't there before we started, just to let you guys know. But yes. We've got the Magwell, we've got the ambidextrous mag release, we've got the safety on there. We've got carbon fiber handguard that you can't quite see it, but there's a plastic 3D printed muzzle brake on the end there. But that's one gun, and those are the things you can do to that one particular gun. Every gun can have different stuff done to it.
Just like the coat hangers to me, mate. You have to tidy that office up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do that. So some of the original PPQs that came in had a little L hook on the end. Up at Bluefield Sports, we're cutting the L hook off the end to make it straight, so you didn't catch yourself on that. We don't tend to do too much with the coat hangers because there's other people out there who offer that service. And quite honestly, gunsmithing is something I do for Bluefield Sports to help them, but it's not my main focus. Gunsmithing I'm doing because I'm here already, and Bluefield Sports needs someone to come and do that, so I'll go and do it to help them out. But my main focus is always Magload, and Magload isn't necessarily about gunsmithing for other people, although we do take that on. It's about making products that people want.
And very shortly, we're going to touch on 3D printing very shortly, a little bit. But I want to just go back to the firearms again. If I come along, I'm not big in practical shotgun as much as I'm very, very interested. You know already, I'm involved with long range 308 at Bisley and 2.2 still, but practical shotgun is something that interests me. So if I come along, if I pull you up and come along, and I mean, what are the things you're going to do for me? You're going to show me. You're going to show me what kind of weapons I should be using. So if I pick up my Benelli M2 or whatever and come along and say, right, what can you do to this shotgun to make it easier for me to become a practical shooter? Well, what are the things that you would do to that shotgun?
Well, so Benelli M2, we'd probably put a button on it, open up the port for sure. If it's an M2 field, we'll do a nice shallow cut on there to make it really fast and slick to load. Put a carbon tube, magazine tube on it. Apart from that, I'd leave it there. A lot of guns, I'm a big fan of not messing around with them too much, just getting them running as they are, and then people can chop and change it and upgrade stuff as they go.
I suppose in some respects you could do too much to a gun.
Yeah, it's very easy to do too much to a gun. And actually, we have a fixed charge at Bluefield Sports for fixing the guns when people have taken it a bit too far.
So, yeah, I mean, just talking about magazines, you know, there's a wide range of shotguns, and go from box fed to all the rest of it. I mean, can you extend tubes and magazine tubes? Just touching on magazine tubes.
Yeah.
Most of the guys on here will know what that is already. Can you extend those tubes? Do you have your own tubes? Can you make your own tubes?
Yeah, we do make our own tubes. If Callum can pass one over to me. This is
guys, one of the very few things we can handle live on YouTube.
Yeah, so I can't handle any firearms, but I could handle. This is one of our carbon magazine tubes.
Right, so that's carbon fiber.
It's carbon fiber and polymer. It is the lightest thing in the world, and no one even comes close to it.
Excellent stuff. I think
super strong as well. I mean, everything we do has got a lifetime warranty, so I don't make anything unless I can slap a lifetime warranty on it. We do.
And that extension you've just shown us there, can that fit to any shotgun at all, or do you have to adapt it?
That one is for the widest range of shotguns. I can see Mark Jiggins is on here. Yeah, you probably recognise that, buddy. Yeah, so that is the M2 fitment, which fits a whole range of shotguns. And then there's a couple of other fitments. We've just got a drop-down list on the website. You pick your gun, and we handle which nut it is in the back end here. But I mean, so like some of the other stuff we do is we've got do other carbon fiber things. Like this is the handguard for the 1522.
Okay. Yes.
Again, same sort of construction. So yeah, so we can make these magazine tubes. So this one is a +6. No, I think it's a +8. So it makes an M2 12 rounds in the tube.
Right. Okay.
We were working it out earlier. If we stick it on a Benelli Supernova, the longest tube we can make is a 25 round total capacity.
Yeah, but
you'd never use it.
That's going to go like another 2 feet beyond the barrel, is it not?
It's a lot more than 2 feet. But no one ever uses it. The longest tube I've ever made has been like a 15 round total capacity, and I think that's probably a bit too long.
Now, just touching on shotguns, okay, we're just going to talk to you about guns and your preference.
Yeah, sure.
Shotgun. Let's talk about your choice in shotguns. I mean, a lot of the guys who are maybe going to watch this now or watch it a bit later on are probably thinking, well, what do I buy? What do I start with? And so, is it better to start with a budget shotgun? Is it better to? Where do we start? Where do the guys start?
So if you've got to start cheap because you're on a tight budget, buy a Stoeger M3K. It's pretty much as good as you're going to get for the money out of the box. Just take it, shoot it, and learn whether or not you like it. And you can make a more informed decision from there. If you want to get in there and just get the right gun from the start, if you're going to shoot semi-auto, get yourself a Benelli M2, whether it's an M2 Field or an M2 SP. The M2 SP will be more ready than a Field, but it might still need some fettling. If you're going to shoot pump, you get a Benelli Supernova. That's kind of it. Some people will also talk about the Beretta 1301. It's an excellent gun. If you're asking for my opinion on what you should get, I'd say go with the Benelli. So
you've just touched on pump action. Okay, that's just a second. In terms of competition, I mean, we had that little clip earlier where you and Ducker were making complete arses out of yourselves. You both had tube fed shotguns. Is that the preferred choice, or can you use box fed, or what are the choices, or is that the preferred choice? So
there are 4 divisions in IPSC competition, which is what you saw us shooting. There's standard manual, which is pump, standard, which is essentially a tube fed semi-auto, modified, which is a heavily modified tube fed semi-auto, and then open, where anything goes. And open is where you see those box feds being run.
That's too many choices, Cars.
No, it's dead simple. Basically, you ask me what division you should shoot, and I will tell you what division you can shoot.
Well, if I said to you, I want to be up there with you, you know what I mean? I want to come along to that competition, and I want to piss all over you and Ducker. What am I going to do?
In which case, if that's the case, then my advice to you is, I've seen you shoot. Choose another hobby.
Okay, one to Connors, one to Snell. That's the first time you've got one over on me, okay? All right. Now you know. Anyway, so we've talked about shotguns. All right.
Yeah.
That's go down to mini rifle. All right.
Mhm.
We're talking about practical shooting. We can talk practical shotgun. We can talk two gun.
Yeah.
Or three gun. Now, I'm not big in three gun. The idea that we're limited as to what we can use in terms of pistol sort of puts me off the three gun thing here.
Yeah.
What are your views on this? I mean, do you prefer just shotgun, practical shotgun, or two gun or three gun? Where
if it's got a trigger and it goes bang, I love it.
Those disciplines.
Yeah, I shoot whatever I can. I mean, my main focus is always going to be practical shotgun. However, I'm a committee member of Kentucky Firearms Club, and they pride themselves of being currently one of the only clubs in the country that's doing proper three-gun matches. Now, there are a couple of other clubs. John Axe is working quite closely with Brian Llewellyn over in Wales to put on some proper three-gun down there. But I'm all for three-gun. I'm a committee member of a club that does three-gun, and I love it, and I'll do everything I can to support it.
You mentioned John Axe there and some of the other lads. I want to get them on here, Connors, because they need help.
Be careful getting Brian on. He has some strange stories.
Is this who's this, Llewellyn?
Brian Llewellyn.
Yeah, I've heard some terrible stories about him. But
ask him about the crocodiles.
We need to get them on here because we need them. Well, that's one of the reasons why you're on here, by the way.
Yeah.
The reason why we're going to get John on here and Ben on here and all the rest, because we need to improve personalities. We need to get some humor in you. And it's going to take a long time, but we keep coming on the streams and keep talking, and we'll get that. Okay? We'll work on it bit by bit. Okay, so stop picking on me. Any more stuff like that?
I've got to be careful, guys. You see, because he's got the mute button. He can bin me off at any time.
Right, look, we're still on guns. Okay, I'm watching the clock. Okay, just in case you just ramble on too much. All right.
Look who's talking.
Okay, we're touching on mini rifles. I was actually sent in a question through one of the buttons there about mini rifles. And so tell us the differences. I mean, a lot of the guys at the small bore clubs will be very familiar, obviously, with the long tube prone LR, but they'll also be familiar with the 1022 LSR. Light sporting rifle, as it's called in 2.2 if you go to a small bore. So what is the difference between that rifle and a mini rifle or a 1522?
Nothing. A 1022 is a mini rifle.
Okay.
A mini rifle is anything that you can take and use in a mini rifle match, and a mini rifle match is a match where you're shooting 2.2 LR. That's it, plain and simple. You can take your bolt action to a mini rifle match if you want to. It is mini rifle. You're gonna lose, but you can take it.
So you see, I sort of thought that the differences really were minimum, just like you've expressed. But perhaps the mini rifle has a shorter barrel.
No, mini rifle is anything you want to take that's in 2.2 LR to a match. As a matter of fact, some of the guys in Europe will also extend mini rifle out to include pistol caliber carbines. They'll call it mini rifle, even though we have a pistol caliber carbine division. But yeah, mini rifle is only 2.2. If you've got a 2.2 that you love to shoot, you can take it to a mini rifle match. So
you could perhaps maybe take the infamous 1022 action, stick a little tactical butt stock on there, and turn it into something exciting.
You could do. There is one guy on the mini rifle scene called Jim Starley who shoots a 1022, and his stock is actually the more typical shape. He hasn't got a pistol grip or anything else like that on there. And it's a bit similar to our shotguns, you see. We don't put pistol grips on our shotguns because pistol grips are slow. It's different when you're talking about an AR platform rifle like that. You need a pistol grip in order to fling the gun around. But a 1022 is more than capable of winning a mini rifle match. And you look at Jim Starley, he's won all of the Silverstone League. Now, those aren't proper IPSC matches, but they're still the only mini rifle matches going on at the moment. And he's winning those with the 1022 up against some pretty good shooters.
And we're just going to stay on rifles because we're going to take a little step back again to making stuff. Yeah. And what can we do? What can you do at Magload? I mean, how many things can you make? I mean, can you what's next on the agenda for you? Is it stocks? Can you create stocks?
We can. It's something that is quite a long way down our development list. What we like to do is bring stuff out that people either doesn't exist, or people are telling us there isn't anything out there that's currently good enough. So there are things that we've made that other people also make, but we've had feedback from our shooters, from our customers. Hey, these guys make this thing. It's not good enough. What can you fix it? We'll do that. But a lot of it is driven by actual need for products. I don't see a need out there for more stocks or more grips. So I'm not going to do that yet. You know, when we've got a bit of downtime, which will be never, maybe we'll make some stocks and grips, but we're making stuff that people actually need. We've got like quite a few different pools of resources. So we've got the sponsored shooters. So we've got the world champion, we've got the British champions, Ukrainian champion, Russian champions, all sponsored shooters of ours. And they give us excellent feedback on what they need and what they want. Then we've got like a market research focus group, which is a bit more of a broader group of people, and they give us feedback on what they want. And we also welcome feedback from every other shooter out there who wants to suggest something. And between the three groups, we can usually dial in products really quickly and find out what people want, find out what people need, find out what works, what doesn't. Very easy for us to get stuff tested because we just send it to one of our shooters and they go and break it and tell us how they broke it.
Well, Connor, that's the best feedback of all.
Yeah.
You know, if you just put something out there and it gets broken, and then you start all over again. Honestly.
I'm just going to interrupt you quickly there. I can see Tim Martin is asking some questions on Facebook by the looks of things. Hey Tim, that says Pepsi Max. Views on the Tigris XR12. I think that question popped up whilst we were talking about guns. Tigris XR12 is a very new gun on the scene. I have seen two in the flesh running. They are okay. They were not faultless, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's very hard to have an open gun that runs flawlessly. I'd say 1 in every 10 rounds was malfunction, which is better than the Typhoon, but not as good as an RS1. So you know, you take your pick and spend your money, I guess. But the Tigris looks nice, certainly. Some question marks around it, but that's probably because it's a new gun, and I'm sure as more people buy them and use them, we'll find out more about it. And I know Tim's asking about belts, but I think we'll get onto that in a little bit. Isn't that right, Dave?
Belts. Yes, we are going to get on the belts, but I just want to pop back to 3D printing.
Yeah, sure.
So far, you know, you showed us the obviously the magazine tube and bits and pieces. What can you not 3D print? I mean, did you 3D print the magazines, the tubes? Are they 3D printed?
No, this tube's a carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, and it's cut size and what have you.
We have these custom made for us to our specifications. Funny thing, if you see this sort of carbon fiber where you can actually see the weave in it, if it looks like that on the inside, it's not very good carbon. The actual carbon fiber doesn't look like this. This is just a cosmetic finish. The actual carbon fiber you might be able to see on the inside there if I bring the light over.
Yep.
Has got this sort of marbled effect on it.
Yep, I got it. We can see inside. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
that's what actual carbon fiber looks like, and you find a lot of people.
Don't you freeze on me? You freeze on me. I'm never going to forgive you.
You there?
Yes, I've got you back now. Just come back into the stream, pal. Honestly, you can't get the guests these days. They've got all that technology in there in that room, and they can't come on. What am I doing wrong? You'll be back on in a second, guys. Send in any questions. Guys, just while I've got rid of them for a second or two there, I have a copy of something which I'm going to show you. Just hang on a second. Yes, I can hear you. I've just run over to do something, but I've sort of lost track of myself. I'm back in there now. Let me bring you back in. Yeah, we're lost where we are now. 3, 2, 1, boom, back in again.
Yeah, I think the camera's allergic to real carbon fiber. But yeah, no. So we don't print carbon fiber. We have these made by people who know a lot more about this stuff than I do. And that's the thing, is I'm never scared to admit when I don't know something. And I will defer to experts when it comes to stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. So just finishing off with the 3D stuff. What stuff are you working on at the moment? Are you allowed to talk about it, or what sort of thing? What ideas or things do you have pending in the 3D department?
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, at any one time, we've probably got like 10 different products on the go in various stages of development. There's a few things coming out. So we just released a new trigger for the Supernova. That is 3D printed. It's one of those things that people say can't be done and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's what I like to hear because I like to prove them wrong. So I said we couldn't 3D print a muzzle brake.
So you're going to stick this on a gun.
Yep.
One will probably shoot a video on it, and we're going to see how it goes.
Oh, yeah. So, actually, talking about what's in the works, what's coming up. So we released our belt system, our click system.
Yep.
People have been asking for like a double cartridge holder for that. So that is there.
Yep.
You know, that'll just go on your belt like on your belt like so. Click, and there you go. You've got 2 extra cartridges on there. That's one of those popular demand type things where people have asked us for it. And on the note of belts, this, I think I was being indicated to show this on the stream. This is something we have not talked about at all to anyone. So here you go, Dave. This one's for you.
I feel very privileged.
This is a prototype of the new Magload belts that are currently in production. We have it on very good authority from our resident actioner champion that these are the stiffest belts out there on the market, which is something you're looking for in a 2-piece belt. They are currently in production and they will be ready hopefully within a month or so. We've got a nice little buckle on the front that you can have mount your click stuff to. So the buckle itself is another click mount. But yeah,
I really like the look of that belt, and it's going to look so good on me because it's going to go around my 32 waist. Beautiful.
That's a point, Dave. I don't think we go up to your size.
32. Okay, 30. I may not be 32, but I look 32. Okay.
See, that's what I say every time I buy trousers, but I always have to return them for a 40.
As long as I hold my stomach in, I look a 32 waist.
Put it away, Dave. No one wants to see that.
Time, you know, that's what.
Yeah. So yeah, this has been so. This is not the sort of thing that I profess to have any sort of expertise in. But one of the people who does work here at Magload, as I mentioned, is an Action Air champion. We take the piss out of him for not having enough President's medals, but he's working quickly to fix that. He actually gave us a lot of the feedback in developing this, and this is probably I would say he's had more input into developing this belt than any other product so far. So special ordered him one in green from the suppliers, so hopefully he'll be happy with that. But yeah.
Terrible color. Anyway, look, listen, while we're on the belts, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, your first big thing really was the belt, wasn't it? The belts. You started creating the belts.
Yeah, it wasn't the belt itself, it was the loader.
Loader, let's have a look.
Yeah. It's the first one, or one of the first ones.
Okay. So that would just attach to the belt.
Yeah, so this one had Velcro on the back, so you could slap it onto a Velcro belt, but most people would use the bolt holes on the front to attach it to a tech lock or something like that. And it'd go on a belt, not too different from what you just saw on that one there. That's one of our very early loaders. These have been long since discontinued, probably collector's items now. Maybe I'm flattering myself a bit too much.
This extended itself to what you've got now.
Yeah, so I don't even know if I've got a Nexus Pro in here. I actually don't have a Nexus Pro in here.
You haven't got the product that I brought you on here for?
The fact of the matter is they go
because of the Nexus.
They're going out the door so fast we can't keep them in stock. Well, we can keep them in stock just barely, but you know. But this is actually an original Nexus on Nexus Pro upgrade kit. So it's got the same backplate and the bars as the Nexus Pro, but it's actually the original older loader. Because another thing I do is I don't like things to go obsolete. So when I made the new one, I made it fully compatible with the old one, so people can chop and change and upgrade bits and pieces as they go. They don't have to buy a whole new loader. And I think a lot of people appreciated that when we did that.
So how many of these would you have on your belt in competition?
So this is a 12 cartridge loader.
12, yeah.
So I'd have one of these, and I'd have a 28 cartridge loader on as well. So I'd have 40 in total on my belt.
Mm-hmm. And how are these produced, Connors? How did you produce these? Are these printed or are they?
There's a massive mix of technologies in here. So there's printed parts. There's a lot of hand fitted turned brass inserts. We've got actually there's not much machining on this. Laser cut,
Right.
anodizing. We've got diamond light coating on here as well. So there's a range of technologies. This isn't just something you spit out of a 3D printer. This is a sort of quite a holistically made product. There's a bit of everything in it.
Fantastic innovation, mate. You know, and I think that's your key thing at the moment. Obviously,
Yeah.
Magload, the Magload name is really where you're driven, and I think
That's what I do for a living. I kind of have to be driven about it.
that's absolutely keep it going. I think a lot of the guys are interested. You know, they see you coming on games and talking about all the little bits and pieces that you're coming up with for the rifles, and it gives me a terrible headache. You know, because people have got so many different choices of products they can buy and add to their equipment, their belts, prepare themselves for competition, and sometimes it can become very, very overwhelming. You know.
Yeah, and actually, we find ourselves becoming a sort of like a point of contact for people just wanting to ask random bits and pieces about practical shooting, and we're absolutely fine with that. A lot of people call us just to ask what gun should I buy, and we're fine answering those questions because we appreciate there's not that much information out there necessarily on this stuff, or people want to hear it in person rather than reading it on a forum post or being recommended by their mates. Want to hear it from someone else. Normally, we're just confirming a decision they've already made for themselves, unless they've decided to buy a Mossberg JM940, in which case we quickly get them not to buy that and buy something else. But apart from that, yeah, we love talking to people about it, and people do use us as a point of reference, and I'm happy to do so.
Now, somebody has just asked me what you've got in your gun cabinet, but I was going to ask you anyway. We're going to talk about the guns that you do have, the rifles you have. So that's all for the shotgun.
Okay, start with the shotgun. So I've got my Benelli Supernova. I have two actually. I have the one I'm running in competition, and the one that I need to replace that with, because the one I'm running in competition is very, very old, very tired. It's definitely had over 150 rounds through it now. So that gun needs to be retired. So I've got a second Supernova, but that's it for shotguns. I don't have any others.
Just for the guys who are watching the stream now or later or whenever, just to give you an idea, guys, the M2 price range, Connors, what is that? Is that around is that just over £1,000, or is it?
Yeah, an M2 is £1,000 to £1,200, depending on where you get it from. The SP can run about £100-150 more than that. But the Supernova, the gun I shoot, it's a £650 gun.
And that's roughly about the same price as that the budget Stoker.
Yeah, that's right.
500-600 quid.
Yeah, that's the difference, and something we say to a lot of people. And I think since we've been telling people this, we've seen more people shooting pump, because for the same price as a budget semi-auto, you can buy the top end pump. And I think that's seen a lot of people joining in and shooting pump with us.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's go on a mini rifle.
All right, yeah.
What have you got?
I have my 1522.
Why do you prefer it?
So I've got my 1522. I've got a Tippmann M422. I've got two Ruger 1022s, and I've got my Anschutz 54. But I don't know if that counts. That's more we keeping it from the three position days more than anything. But I'll be honest. So the 1522 is a gun of choice. AR platform.
Sorry, just bring it back. Just for some of the guys, just for some of the dummies out there.
Yeah.
Clarify the 1522. What is that? Is that Smith and Wesson?
That's a Smith and Wesson 1522. When I talk about Rugers, the 1022 is the Ruger 1022, and Anschutz Match 54. So the Smith and Wesson 1522.
Yep.
It's an AR-15, and unlike guns like the Tippmann, it's an out-and-out AR-15. You can drop any AR-15 grips, stocks, safeties, all that kind of stuff. Well, safety is a little more tricky. You do need to buy specific ones, but a lot of AR-15 upgrades will fit on this, and it makes it very popular, very easy to modify it for competition, which is why I chose it. The other thing, 1022s tend to be very, very slow to reload because of the magazines, whereas an AR-15 is much, much faster to reload. I'm actually going to be moving off of the 1522 platform. I've treated myself to a custom-built rifle, so I'm just waiting for that to come through.
Are you allowed to tell us who's making that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's Otto up at Cotswold Classic Arms, and he's making me a custom gun based off of a battle arms receiver. He's actually going to do just the action, the barreled action, so the upper, the lower, the bolt, and the barrel. He's going to send it back to me, and I'm going to do the rest of it up in typical magload fashion. It shouldn't look too different from that when it's all done.
So I'm hearing very good feedback from Cotswold Classic Arms. Is that
He
your reputation?
In my humble opinion, Otto is possibly one of the best practical gunsmiths we have in the country for doing AR-15s and long barrel pistols and all that sort of thing. I really don't think there's anyone better in the country than he is.
You know what's coming here, don't you, Connor? This is Otto. If you're listening to this later on, you probably will. This is a one-on-one. We're going to come on the live stream. We're going to have a chat with you about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be any worse than this fella here. You know, so come on and we'll talk about the things you're doing for people. So that's a great point. Right. Yeah. Okay. So pretty much know what you're doing there with that. What about pistol?
I have a Chiappa Rhino revolver. I don't have a 2.2 LBP because I haven't found one I like yet. Otto is bringing out a CZ, which I am most interested in, but I have access to a lot of 2.2 LBPs through Bluefield Sports, but I haven't picked one for myself that I really like just yet.
I'm sort of put off the LBP. Long guys, just for the dummies out there, long barrel pistol. You know, it kind of. I mean, my first shooting experience was with a pistol, just before the ban, about 4 years before the ban. I was trained with a pistol, and it was my first experience of shooting. The rifle shooting obviously came a bit later, but I've held these things in my hands, and I'm thinking, what is this thing? What is this thing? What the hell is this thing? I can't do this. But it's obviously part of 3-gun, and if you're going to shoot 3-gun in the UK, it's all you can use, all right? Yeah. And it just is what it is. Just touching on ammunition, in terms of mini rifle, Connors, and pistol, what type of ammunition do you use, if you don't mind saying?
That's fine. I use CCI Mini Mag. Much to the dismay of some of my sponsored shooters who put a lot of work into their ammo. So like Ben and Josh are using Ely. They're Ely sponsored shooters. They're actually using Ely Action, which is I believe it's Ely Action, which is the slightly slower round than the Ely Force. I might be wrong on that, don't quote me, but they're using the slower round of the two. And a lot of people talking about using CCI standard as well. That's good. But if you're using Ely or CCI, you're probably not going to go too far wrong. Just if anyone's out there wondering what ammo to buy, don't start buying Bargain Bucket, Magtech, and Remington, because you're not going to have fun with it.
Yeah, CCI and Mini Mag tends to be the broader range of choices.
This way, if Mini Mag doesn't cycle your gun, there's something wrong with your gun. Mini Mag will just get anything running, and it's because of that reliability I like to use it. Although they've had some troubles in recent years.
So look, we've talked about the type of guns that you use because we're obviously focusing on yourself. What about sights in terms of shotgun and mini rifle? What have you got on your rifles?
Currently nothing. I'm constantly chopping and changing sights on the mini rifle because I'm exploring a lot of different things. There's stuff that we have in development, which means I need to be trying a lot of different optics. I have a Vortex Razor Gen 2, which is by far and away the best one that I've come across so far. I've used a Gen 3. Yes, it's better than a Gen 2. I'm just not ready to buy one myself just yet. On the shotgun, I use the stock bead because a lot of people will put like an easy hit, really bright fiber on there. I find it too distracting. As far as I'm concerned, once the gun's mounted and in my shoulder, I shouldn't really be looking at that front sight all too much. So I don't want it to be all that bright.
Can you use the Vortex Razor HD on both shotgun and mini rifle? Can you use that?
I've never seen someone use it on a shotgun, but I suppose you are allowed to if you're shooting modified.
There's a lot of guys out there who are just who are thinking about getting involved in practical shooting, and this is one of the reasons why we're doing this. And I think, what would you advise them to do in terms of if they're starting off on a budget, and they want to put something on their shotgun and then something on their mini rifle? What are they looking at doing?
You're looking at a red dot of some description. Vortex Venoms are very inexpensive, lifetime warranty. They work well. They're not the best in the world, but again, they're not the most expensive in the world either. Buy a Vortex Venom and you'll be happy. You can put it on every one of your guns, including your pistol, and it will just work. Although you shouldn't really be chopping and changing sights between guns. If you wanted to, that'd be something you can do. And
just moving on to perhaps maybe different types of rifle.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm a big fan of Vortex. I do like Vortex scopes. I think I look at things. I'm a bit of a cheapskate, Connors. Okay, that's, you can tell. Look at the clothing. Yes, I like Vortex because I think Vortex are cost effective. You can spend a bit more money, but I do not believe in spending £2,000 or £3,000 on a long range rifle scope. I shoot 1,000 yards of it busily, so I practice 600. I shoot 1,000, and I reload, as you know. And I'm obviously involved in selling rifles like yourself and many others. So we're on here, but I kind of like, and Vortex I kind of like them because they've branded the Strike Eagle model, which
mm-hmm.
is very, very affordable. I think it's good value for money. Some guys don't like it, but if you compare it with their PST, Gen 2 range, which was I think it was around about the £1,000 mark, that particular long range scope.
Yeah.
What are your views on those Vortex long range scopes, and what would you use?
£1,000 is not a lot of money to spend on a long range scope. And the Vortex, the Diamondback, I don't know how much that goes for. That is a scope that we use here at Bluefield Sports. That is a really, really nice scope. I like it a lot. I use a Lightstream personally. You can't get those anymore because they went out of business because the scopes are too cheap. I think we might have a cat join us shortly. You can't get those anymore. But if we're talking long range, I mean, I'm talking Night Force, I'm talking Schmidt and Bender. I've shot a lot of different types of scopes, and I know, but I really see the benefit when you start going out to long range. Some of the issues you run into, like being able to see the humidity in the air and things like that, especially at high magnifications and long distances, haze becomes a real problem. And the clearer your glass is, the more you can see through the haze, and you really start to struggle. Like, I don't think I would take a Diamondback out to like 1,500 yards, but I would take a Schmidt & Bender PM2 or a Night Force out to that distance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think for a lot of us, it's budget and choice. Schmidt & Bender are a very popular choice for a lot of you out there who have got a few grand to spend.
The fact of the matter is, glass is expensive to make. When I say glass, I mean scopes. Scopes are expensive to make. You should buy whatever the best thing is that you can afford. Don't stretch yourself to buy something more than what you can afford. Buy what you can afford. Whatever it is, as long as you're buying from a reputable brand, you're going to enjoy it and it's going to be good. There's no need to take out finance to get like a Night Force £3,500 scope or however much they are nowadays. If a Strike Eagle at like 700 quid is in your price range, a Strike Eagle is an extremely good scope. You will not be disappointed in it. So, yeah. I might be getting mixed up on the Vortex model names there, but I'm hoping I'm getting the general gist across.
I think you're paying. I mean, you're basically paying for the glass.
You're paying for the glass, yeah, but you should always get the best thing you can afford after you bought your gun.
So, just remind us again of what is your association with IPSC?
My association with it, so I shoot IPSC. I teach the safety courses. I am a non-council committee member of the UK PSA, which is the UK branch of IPSC. And so I am the Southwest region rep. So I look after all the clubs in the Southwest region. Not that they talk to me very much. I don't guess I'm not all that approachable. But yeah, so that's my involvement with IPSC. You know, I'm involved at I like to think, a fairly high level. I'm a qualified range officer. A range officer at least every single one of the shotgun level 3s and a bunch of the other level 2s and level 3s that I can get to. So I like to give back like that. Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way. You won the British Masters a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was nice. It's probably my best win so far.
And practical shotgun event. And you know, before you completely cocked up the first part of this stream, by the way, you know, we have some video of you. I believe that was video footage of you competing.
Yeah.
You shot very well. You didn't look the part. You never did. But you actually shot well, and you did enough to win it. I mean, Ben didn't look much better. You boys could do with shaping up a little bit, to be honest. I mean, if I was this physique, aesthetic, sculpted, round physique, it's all about recoil absorption. So in terms of
we're on strict nutritional plans of Chinese takeaway and KFC to maintain a recoil absorbing physique.
Look, listen, the only reason why you've got that beard is you're just hiding all the fat around your chin. Okay? Don't worry about that, because I can see the pussy.
She's up there.
I'm down now. I've lost about 4 pounds in the last month and a half, and that's
really. You look like you put on weight since the last 4 years.
Yeah, all right. Okay, all right. You've got 2 up on me now, all right. But look,
I think it's a lot more than 2.
You know, listen, Paul. I'm about 15 years older than you. You know, and I know I am. And I don't. And by the way, I don't look it.
Do you want me to go? I'll leave that. I'll let that one slide, shall I? It's too good an opportunity, and I think everyone else has already said what I'm thinking in their head. So,
listen, I'm looking forward to getting a lot of the other guys on here to talk about their levels and standards of shooting. You know, so what we're going to do, we've done very well here. I sort of promised you I need to keep these videos down to about 60 minutes or an hour, and we're doing really, really well. So let's just get back to Magload, okay?
Yeah, sure.
What I want to know is, how far do you want to take this? What do you want to do with Magload?
I like making stuff.
Where does it end?
As long as I can keep buying machines and making more stuff, I'm happy. Much of the disappointment of everyone who works for me, all I want to do is buy more machines and play with them. I don't actually want to make products. I just want to make more. I don't want to sell products. I just want to make them. I make them, put them on a shelf. Callum finds them about 6 months later and goes, "Shouldn't these be on the website?" And then, you know, I suppose we put them on the website. But yeah, no, I love making stuff, and as long as Magload can keep going in such a way that I can continue to make stuff. And also, you know, we've got Paul on board now, and I want him to be the same. I want him to make stuff. I want him to be doing the same thing as me, you know, create a culture of people who can come up with an idea and make it a reality. People who know how to test it, how to manufacture it, and everything in between.
Let's just touch on Paul. Who are we talking about, Connors? Is that
young Paul?
Is that
Paul Wyborn,
Airsoft champion? Is that?
Wait, Paul, go over it. He's sitting in the background. This, my friends. This is Paul Wyborn. Say hi, Paul.
How you doing, kid? All right.
Yeah.
Has Magload taken you under their wing as the apprentice? Is that correct?
I don't think he could hear us, but I can't hear. No, you can't hear. Yeah,
why are you wearing those silly headphones anyway? Why can't you just get some cheap stuff like I've got? And, you know, and you look like you've got big ears. You know.
Yeah. You know, Davis, because it's like
you're saying.
Davis, because it's like you said, you're a cheapskate. But yeah, Paul is our apprentice design engineer. So he is learning far too quickly how we do everything here. Doing very well at that, and I'm hoping you can see a lot more of him.
Well, you better get him on the screen, because
you probably want to interview this guy.
Bring him on there.
Paul is Actionair British champion. Do you want to tell him a little bit about that?
Right, Paul, can you hear me okay?
I can indeed.
You can. I believe that you are the Actionair British champion. Is that correct?
I am, yeah.
Is that in every stage? A pistol, rifle, what?
So that's just pistol. So I shoot standard division, and so I'm standard division champion and also junior standard champion.
Look, listen, Paul, you sound like a really sensible kid. Why'd you get your hooked up with these losers? Why?
It was mainly down to COVID. No one else would take me.
Nobody else took you in, so Connor's bring you in and look after you.
And they pay me well, so
yeah.
No,
don't you forget it.
Paul, do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Take what you can get out of them. Earn as much as you can, and then get the hell out of there, Paul. Get the hell out of it. As soon as you've learned enough stuff, get out of there, because they're all going to go down. That's the reason why I'm on here. I'm on here to help Connors, because he's struggling with his personality, and humor and things like that. And that's the reason why I got him on here. He's been begging me for weeks to bring on a live stream and, give him a little bit of popularity. You better put him back on before he starts crying.
I will do.
Paul, it's good to meet you.
By the way, I'm just sanitizing the headphones before I put them back on, because that's COVID safe and COVID friendly.
Said very nice things about you just now. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll give him a bollocking later.
Things about you. Do you know what? In a few weeks' time, Connors, I'm going to get some of the guys to come on. Some of the innovators like yourself are going to come on. We're going to touch on the pistol ban, and I just want your view on this, actually, because the chances of us getting pistols back again are extremely unlikely. But in terms of if you look at the type of environment that NHTSA have over in North, obviously, guys, just in case for information, just in case you don't know, that pistol shooting, with 9mm is completely legal for target shooting and also self-defense in Northern Ireland. You could have a pistol for protection reasons at home, or in the most cases you can own it and have a pistol at a range. And I think they're usually kept at either the ranges and lockups, or they're kept at the local police stations. And you could obtain the firearms and you can go target shooting. Okay. Here in the UK, obviously, we had the ban, which has been in place for a number of years now. But I'm sure at some point we're going to try and maybe reinitiate some ideas or thoughts as to the possibilities of maybe getting the use of these pistols again at ranges where maybe they could safeguard the pistols, hold the pistols.
It's a nice thought, and I think there are quite a few people and organisations working towards a goal like that, and I hope one day that we might see it.
Because it's fantastic. I'm like yourself, I'm a member of NHTSA, and I haven't spent a lot of time over there, to be honest. Like you, I'm a UK member, but because on a regular basis, I've been just before COVID, I was flying back to Belfast every month. It made sense to become a UK member of NHTSA and use the ranges. And I've yet to get down there and actually get in touch with Jim. And I've joined, I'm a member, but I've yet to actually physically use the ranges properly.
It's a good set of ranges. You like it? It
was superb, because I went in there. I showed the guys a copy of my FAC. I told them I shoot at Bisley, and the guy said, "That's fantastic, Dave. Give us a copy of your license. Have you shot pistol before?" I said, "Yes." He brought out a Glock 17. He showed me the Glock. I was familiar with the Glock. You don't forget when you've shot pistol. You don't forget, even if it's been years. And I went straight down. Only shot at around 10 or 15 yards. But I put a few magazines in there, and it was an absolute pleasure. It was an absolute joy just to shoot a pistol. I can't remember the last time I shot a pistol. I think it was 1994, 95. I can't remember. That's a hell of a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
The guns feel a lot different, in that respect. But I hope one day that maybe we could all maybe do something about that. Look, listen, I'm very impressed with you and me, more me than you, because we've kept to exactly 1 hour, you know, and
is that from when we started or when we finished having problems?
And you know, listen, I'm actually quite impressed with yourself, you know, because you know I spoke to some of the other lads about this, many other top shooters in the UK, and you know, I'll have to be honest, not a lot of them like you very much, you know. But, you know, the thing is, and this is the reason why you're on here, and you keep doing interviews like this, you know, a lot of very positive things are going to happen to you. You know, you're going to develop a personality for one thing, you know.
I don't think there's no danger of that. There's no danger of that. That's for sure.
You're going to be up there with me and Callum. And there's
hey, I don't want to be anywhere near Callum. I don't want to be anywhere near Callum.
Because we come on there and we know what we're doing, and we bring you in for the help. You're the sidekick. You know? And you're all the time, you know. And there she is. She's trying to get down. She's beautiful, beautiful cat.
Come on, you could do it.
Connor, thank you very much for joining us on our.
That's right. Thank you for having me, buddy.
You know, I know you cocked the beginning of the stream up, but that's okay. I forgive you, right? I forgive you. I'm sure you won't do it again because I don't screw up like this. Now, if you had been a world champion snooker player or golfer, and I've had these guys on, I'd have been very, very angry. But I'm not so angry because you're nobody. You're up and coming. There's a lot of things you need to learn. And, you know, bring the cat in. The cat's making you look good.
Oh, come on, Nola. Come say hi.
Oh, she's
beautiful. She doesn't want to say hi.
She's nearly got as much hair as you, you know. Right, guys, thanks very much for joining the stream.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Just to say, before you go, I'm going to be looking at who came on and who subscribed to the YouTube channel. Now, look, I know it wasn't a fantastic stream this evening because he popped up. So I've got a copy of John Axe's book, The Three Circles. We've already done an interview with John. John is going to be my regular sidekick once a month on the stream. And we're going to be speaking to many more practical shooters. We're going to be speaking to a lot of innovators like Connor's here in the coming months who are going to get involved in everything. I'm going to send this book I'm going to pluck out one of you who have been watching the stream on YouTube, and I'm going to get in touch with you, and I'm going to send you the book. So I hope you've subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's a brand new channel. It's just Dave Lewis Live. It has to build itself up a little bit. You know, I'm not up there with Colin and English shooting, but I will be very, very soon because I'm funnier. I'm better looking than these two. So keep tuning in. So thanks for joining us, guys. Connor, you just stay on there. I want to give you a little bit of a boost just before you go, before we start the stream.